You are allowed to have a private life, and this can be one of those private things. So if someone pushes you, it's like, oh, what's your other appointment? You can say, look, I prefer not to say.
Hey, I'm Trav. Back in 2010, I got hit hard with chronic fatigue syndrome, only 6 months after starting my new personal training business. I've spent the last 8 years researching and experimenting with my body to help get back to my best and beyond. I'm now sharing my story and my strategies with you so you can get back to living the life you love.
Hey, Trav here, holistic health and lifestyle coach, helping you to make your comeback. Today, you will learn how to say no without feeling guilty. Now, this is vitally important for anyone who has chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, because you don't have a lot of energy, which means you don't have a lot of time in the day. You need the time and the energy to recover, and you need enough energy, as much as humanly possible, just to be able to look after yourself, because I know what it's like. You don't even have enough time to do a lot of the basic things. You don't have a lot of the energy to be able to do the simple things. And remember, you can't look after anyone else unless you can look after yourself. So being able to say no is vitally important. And look, you probably are one of those people that really loves to help. You've got a big heart. You want to look after your friends, family, co-workers, everybody else. You love being able to help and share. But this is the time for you to look after yourself. So you must learn to say no. You must learn to conserve your own energy. So here are 6 ways that you can say no without feeling guilty. Number 1, just say no. Don't give a reason. Just say no and end the conversation. You might change the subject. You might just walk away. But you do not actually have to give anyone a reason why you want to or don't want to do anything. That is their choice if they ask, but you don't have to give them a reason. I mean, you've only got so many hours in the day. They've only got so many hours in the day. They're looking for some help, and that's great if you have the time and energy to be able to help, but right now it's about looking after you. So just say no. Don't give a reason. Let it go. Walk away. If they push you for a reason, that makes it a little bit more difficult. So what you can do is you can say, I have another appointment. Now that appointment could be anything. That appointment could be an appointment with your doctor. But it could also be an appointment with your couch and the TV. That appointment could be a nap. That appointment could be you going and doing your food shopping for the week. That appointment can be anything that you want it to be. You don't have to specify that appointment with the other person. You don't have to go into any more details. You are allowed to have a private life, and this can be one of those private things. So if someone pushes you, it's like, oh, what's your other appointment? You can say, look, I prefer not to say. And that's it. End of conversation. If someone is pushing you at that point, then maybe that's someone you might not want to spend too much time around. So you might need to say no about spending time around them. And that's something to think about too. Okay, another thing that you can say, which I know you believe and they might understand, is I don't have the time or energy to spare. Now, you might have in the past have been that yes person. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. And you can help everyone out because you're the one person that everybody knows can get it done. Well, right now, maybe you can get it done, but it's at the expense of what? At the expense of your own health, at the expense of something about looking after your health, at the expense of looking after your own time and energy, at the expense of getting your good quality food that's going to lift your energy back up and get you where you need to be. So maybe you need to educate them on exactly where you're at. Now, I know it's very difficult. People who have chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia look often the same as everyone else, and no one really knows what's going on. You know, you might be on the bus and feel guilty because you don't want to stand up and let an elderly person or somebody else sit down. But they might have a lot more energy than you. And this is like something that I noticed and I was really torn about, because it's just like you are so exhausted that you feel guilty about not being able to let someone else, but you know you need to sit down. All right? So if you don't have the time or energy to spare, then you don't have the time or energy to spare. You don't have to be looking out for anyone else. Tell them what chronic fatigue is. Tell them what fibromyalgia is. Tell them what your general day looks like. Tell them that that is your lifestyle now. There's nothing you can do about it other than looking after yourself. Now, they may understand and they may not understand. If they don't understand, too bad. You don't need to go into any further information with them. And again, it's probably someone you might want to distance yourself from a little bit. It doesn't mean you don't be friends with these people or what have you, but sometimes it's just a matter of, if they don't understand and they keep pushing you, and that's draining your energy, you need to look after you. It's all about looking after you as number one. If you can't look after you, you can't look after anybody else. So, here are 3 other ways that are really good for saying no. Don't answer the phone, or don't call somebody back if you don't want to, or if you don't have the energy to. You don't have to. You've only got so many hours in the day, and I know that you've only got so much energy to fill those hours. I remember when I was sick and my phone would ring and I had no energy, and I was just like, I really can't deal with this person right now. I don't have the energy to have this conversation. Talking is taking my energy away from me, and I really just need to rest, and I would just let the phone go. Or you might hit that button that says no, or you might just hit the button that makes it go silent, or you might just turn your phone over so you can't see it flashing at you, because a lot of the time you might feel guilty about saying no that way. But again, it's your time, it's your life, you only got one life, and you really need to look after you right now, so don't answer it. Or don't call someone back. Or don't call someone back until the next day. Now, I do not take calls from numbers that I don't know. It is occasional that I will, but generally when people are calling me from a number that I don't know, it is someone who is trying to sell me something, or do a survey, or something that takes my time but doesn't actually give me anything back. So I'm giving my time away for free. Now, my rule is, if I don't answer the phone and somebody leaves a message, they actually want to speak to me. And then I can call them back immediately, and that's okay. Or I can listen to the message and say, oh, okay, that's great. I don't quite have the energy right now to have that conversation, but I'll call that person back at this time or tomorrow when I've got a little bit more energy, and I know that that's okay. But again, you don't have to answer your phone if someone's taking a survey. It's like, you don't have to do that. Someone rang me up the other day about a survey, and it was like, sounded all official, and I was like, all right, do I have to take this survey? Is it compulsory? No. No worries, thank you very much, goodbye. Is it rude to hang up on a telemarketer? Maybe to them it is, but is it rude for a telemarketer to call you on an unsolicited call? Yeah, kind of is too. So it goes both ways, so don't feel guilty for hanging up on somebody. If you can't get a word in because they continue to talk, which is how they are trained to, then it's okay for you to say thank you, goodbye, and just hang up the phone. Or you don't have to say anything. You can hang up the phone, it doesn't matter. Whatever you got to do to look after you is the most important thing right now. So the same rule applies. You don't have to answer a text. You don't have to answer an email in that manner. They do not have to be responded to straight away. You don't have to check your text messages if you don't want to. You don't have to check your emails if you don't want to. You can get back to somebody in a few days. You can get back to somebody in a few weeks if you have to. If it's important enough, they might get in contact with you again or by some other channel. But generally, it doesn't have to be done right this second. And being able to stop that is very important. Being able to say no to that is very important. Along this line, I suggest you turn off any of the notifications on your phone. Notifications from text message, yeah, maybe. That could be kind of important because for a lot of people, that's your connection with the outside world. But for email, you don't need the notifications to come through on your phone. You don't want that to go ding every time an email comes through. You don't want a little email sign on there which has got 900,000 emails that are unopened, because just seeing that could stress you out hugely. You do not need Facebook notifications coming through. You do not need Facebook Messenger notifications coming through, Instagram notifications coming through. There are countless different things that could come through. Turn all your notifications off. If you want to go and check them at some stage, You can, but you don't have to do that right now. Turn the notifications off. Leave all of that aside, and when you have the time and energy, you will then be able to go, oh, I wonder what's going on my Instagram feed or on my Facebook or on whatever else. Oh, I want to go and check my emails now. I've got time and the energy to look at them and perhaps respond to them. I'll do them in my time. If you are one of those people that responds to these things straight away, you will find that you will not have a lot of productive time throughout the day, because every 5 minutes you're interrupted and you have to stop the productive thing that you're doing and go and check your phone and do whatever. And then 5, 10, 15 minutes later, your phone goes down, you might go back to the productive thing. A few minutes later, bing, and you go back to your phone, and all of a sudden you are back in there, and you've barely got anything done today because you've been responding to that messaging system, that communication system in your hand. Now, again, I do understand that when you are sick, your phone is your connection to the outside world, and you really want that. But again, if you have stuff to do that is important for you, your food shopping, your food preparation, any of your protocols that help to improve your health, you need limited distractions. If you want to get anything done, you need limited distractions. So, notifications, please. You don't have to answer everything right away. Put them aside, bulk batch them, I guess is the word. Maybe you look at them at lunchtime, maybe you look at them first thing in the morning, maybe you look at them at morning tea or what have you, when you are sitting down, resting, and you have time. Don't let it pull you away. Last one. I love this one because it is so foreign for anyone to even acknowledge, I guess. You don't have to answer your front door. If somebody knocks on your door, is it your responsibility to get up and answer the door? No. Is it polite? Perhaps. If you're tired and you don't have the energy, you don't want to go and answer the door and have someone who is trying to sell something or survey you and putting you under pressure to be alive. I know what this is like, getting up exhausted and having to come and try and put some energy forward while the person is in front of you and has any enthusiasm and listen, when all you want to do is just shut the door and walk away. Don't answer the door. If you have somewhere where you can have a look and see who is at the door, then you can decide, but there are certain days when you're tired and you just don't want any distraction, and that is fine. Let the door go. The person can come back. If they're wanting to come back, if they're a friend or a family member or what have you, they'll probably call you or text you or something. So you've probably got your phone nearby. Maybe you're not looking at it, but maybe it is around that time. They might get in contact with you that way. Okay, cool. That might be okay. But again, you might even be too tired for a friend or family member to be over there, because some friends and family members are exhausting. They could be energy vampires to a degree and drain you. But you know what? If it's your best friend who you know just lifts you up, they come in, they give you a big hug, and you just feel comforted that they are there, and it lifts your spirits, lifts your energy, great. You know what? Open that door, let them in. But do not feel obligated. You do not have to give your time away. While you are sick like this is the time for you to look after you. You are number one. Time for you to go and figure out what you want out of life. Time to push people away who may be taking away your energy. Time to push things away or opportunities that you may have wanted at one stage, might not want. Maybe a work situation, maybe a relationship is not the best place for you right now, and you want to say no to that and say yes to a new life and new things. This is up to you to decide. So I suggest over the next few weeks, just slowly start to implement some of these strategies and practice them, because again, they are a practice. It is not something that is very easy to do, to say no to people, but the more you say no, the easier it gets to say no. Alright, so say no one time, you might feel a little bit funny doing it, you say no, you say no, you say no, and it's a whole lot easier. It doesn't mean you have to say no forever. A lot of the time it's just saying no for now until you can get enough energy back for you, where then you can say yes to more of the things you want, and then you say no to the things you don't want. And that's it. Life becomes a whole lot easier and far more fulfilling when you say no to the things you don't want and yes to the things you do. If you like this and you want more tips like this, you can grab your free cheat sheet from conquerchronicfatigue.com. The link is in the description. You will get answers to the most common questions that I have been asked on how to recover from chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia. Now, this took me years to put together. Tons of research, over $150,000 spent in my own recovery and research courses, all sorts of things to find the answers to these questions. I'm going to give them to you for free because I want to help you get back to your best. So, go make your comeback and we'll talk again soon.